Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to share with you guys a few tips on how to recover from a low GPA. And sorry, but this is more towards like if you're going to a university. Now if you're going to a high school, it is going to work a little bit different just because you're in high school. So today's video, as you guys could have noticed already, is how to recover from a low GPA. Now I've had someone that I know that I helped go through this whole process, so that's why I thought it would be a good idea to share it with you guys. So sometimes things get hard in college or university or whatever, and I personally was going down this path and it freaked me out a little bit, but I did recover from it. I had a low GPA and my friend also had a low GPA, and I helped him just recover it and get back to his place and graduate. Sorry, I'm trying to get my hair to like stay on this side, but it keeps moving this way. It wants to go that way. So the first tip that I have for you guys is to examine all your classes that you've taken so far. So if you're a freshman or you've just started, you're not gonna have that much to go on. But if you're like a sophomore or even a junior, which is kind of pushing it, but if you do have like a DPR, which that's for season, we call it a DPR, which is a degree progress report, or something similar to that, where you see all your classes that you've taken and all the grades that you've gotten in those classes. You need to get that and then sit down, examine it, look at the classes that you failed and had low grades on, and see if you notice any kind of pattern. So if you could sit down and examine those classes and your grades, that way you have an idea of what you're struggling with. If you're struggling with math or English, chemistry, biology, whatever those classes are, just make a note of it so you can notice what you're struggling with and what's causing your GPA to drop a lot. I don't know if other colleges have that 2.0 minimum requirement, but I know at season that's the way it is. If you get it lower than 2.0 GPA, you are put in probation, and then 1 semester, and if you don't recover from that, then you're kicked out of season. So I'm not sure, it might depend on what school you're going to, but for season, this is how it works. So the second step that you need to do is now examine the classes that you're getting A's and B's on, the classes that you're really enjoying and are easy for you and are just like not struggling like the other ones. So those classes are actually going to help you in improving your GPA, and I'll explain why later. Okay, so now that you've noticed what classes you're struggling with or what classes you're dealing with, you also have to consider why you're doing better in one class than the other. If it's just laziness or you're not putting enough effort into those courses, then that's a problem. And if you're really determined to stay in the major you're in or whatever career path you're determined to stick to, then you have to just be willing to put in the effort of more work and more hours, more tutoring, whatever it takes to actually just get better at whatever courses you're struggling with. Now, if you're not sure about the major and that's not exactly what you're passionate about, or you don't mind switching majors, which is what I had my friend do, because he was a biochemistry major and he was struggling with chemistry, and he just needed he had a few more chemistry classes that he needed to complete in order to get his degree. But he had been in college for a while now, and I noticed that when I was looking over his DPR, he was really good at religious studies and he was getting A's on that. So for me, I went over to the religious studies like their 4-year plan or the requirements of what classes they need in order to graduate, and he just needed a few more, which I thought it was easier for him to just do that than try to stick with biochemistry, especially since it looked like he didn't have the heart for it. So that's what he did. He went back and took those courses and he graduated actually last year, and he's done. But if you're not willing to change or switch majors, then that could be a problem. But like I said, you can always just put more effort into it. So just determine why you're struggling with those courses, and yeah. So now, I know, sorry if I'm going a little bit all over the place with my examples and stuff, but okay, so now if you end up kind of being towards the end of this whole process, like to the point that your GPA is really low and you're already on probation and you're about to get kicked out, I know it's a bad thing. I know it's kind of like upsetting type of thing. You kind of feel a bit bummed out that you're getting kicked out of college, but it's not the end of the world, and it's okay. I helped my friend get through this because this is exactly what happened to him. He wasn't able to like keep his GPA up, and he was on probation, and then he got kicked out for a semester, and I helped him go through it. So he did talk to his counselor, and you have to go talk to your counselor before you do any of this, obviously, because your situation might be different than it was for me or for my friend. So once you talk to your counselor, you can ask all the questions you have, see what classes you can take, if you're already pushing too many units, or if you've taken too many units at a community college and transfer, because I know there's only a certain amount of units you can transfer from another college, and if you've already exceeded that amount, then you're in a more tough situation or position. And so, but him and my friend, he didn't have that many units transferred, so it was okay for him to take a few classes at community college. So my friend had all his general education completed. He didn't need any more, but he just needed to get A's on something so his GPA could boost up a little bit. And so he decided to take like a Spanish course and like something else, or just that Spanish course. I'm not sure. I don't know if he took 1 or 2 courses. So once he transferred his units back to CSUN, his GPA did go back up just a little bit, just enough for him to be back on, like, he was still in probation for that other semester. But then once he went back, you basically do the steps that I told you in the beginning, which is step 1 and 2 and 3, which is basically examine your grades, examine the good grades, and then determine if you're going to switch majors. And he did. He wasn't tied down to biochemistry. He accepted the fact that he needed to switch majors because he was just better at religious studies. So he went from biochemistry to religious studies, and he graduated last year. His GPA was boosted up because the classes that he took, they were all religious studies. He got A's. I think he got A's on all of them. So his GPA went back up, and he was good. So yeah, so in my case, I also started struggling with chemistry. I was a biology major, and I switched to sociology because I noticed that I was good at writing and English, but I wasn't going to go into majoring into English or anything like that. So I chose sociology just because it kind of intrigued me, and once I learned more about it, and I thought it would be fine, like with any career that I chose, it would still work with whatever I ended up choosing. Originally, I wanted to be a veterinarian. That didn't work out, and I let go of that. And then I decided I was going to be an elementary teacher, and that's kind of like the path I'm still on. I want to work with kids. So I switched that, and once I noticed that I switched, my GPA started going back up because I started getting A's, and it was a lot better. My GPA didn't drop to the point that I was going to get kicked out, but I was heading towards that path on my sophomore year, I think. And once I started noticing that pattern, I was just like, I don't want to repeat the same thing my friend had to go through. So I kind of cut my attachment to biology, which I really enjoyed bio, but chemistry, not so much. So chemistry is just a lot harder, and it wasn't even organic chemistry. That would have been like horrible. So I decided to switch. So I hope this kind of made sense to you guys. I'm not sure if it did. So just in case, just to kind of wrap the whole thing, is examine your good grades, examine your bad grades, and also determine why you're getting good grades and why you're getting bad grades. And then just think about switching majors if you're not too attached to it, or you feel like you're pressured into being one major. I mean, if you really enjoy it, you're gonna work hard for it and you're gonna stick to it. But I mean, if you're not too concerned about it, I do suggest just majoring in something that you're good at and you're not gonna struggle with. I mean, for me, sociology wasn't like, it was hard for me at first to let go of biology, just because I really wanted to become a veterinarian since I was like in 5th grade. That was my college plan all these years through high school, everything. I was aiming for that. I knew I was going to go to UC Davis, but plans changed, and now I'm okay with like my decision. I'm glad I did it because I've been working with kids since like middle school or something like that. I've always ended up working with kids, and it's just, I feel like that's where I'm supposed to be. So I'm glad I kind of, things worked out for me. My GPA went from, it was the lowest GPA I think it got was like a 2.9 No, it went down to a 1.9, I think. And then that's when I got on probation. I was on probation for 2 semesters, and then I switched, and then that's when I went back up, and now my GPA is a 2.7. My GPA is a 2.7, and I'm hoping after this semester I'll graduate with a 2.8 or 2.9, which sucks because I'm so close to a 3.0, but that's what happens. I'm okay though. I don't mind as long as I graduate this May. I'm pretty good. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is the first time you guys are seeing me, please subscribe to my channel. I make videos every Mondays and Tuesdays, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.